Sometimes when I'm meditating and asking for the service for today, sometimes it comes in ideas and visions, imagery. Sometimes, on rare occasions, it comes in specific words. And that's how it came down today. So I want to share with you the words that I was given. And hopefully you can feel the energy with which I receive them. So, we've been completing our month of joy, and we are leading into our celebration of love. This is our season of love. So our month of joy, we've all been participating in. We're moving into our season of love. In love, we feel an upliftment. Everything is beautiful, and love highlights all that we do. In the beginning, we see it in the people around us. We see the shopping people, we see the happy people. But we know it's only the beginning because we know it's going to build. This year, instead of waiting for it to build, they want us to consider opening our hearts just to allow it to be now. Fully now in our hearts. We know there's a lot to do, but if we let love guide us, it will take us in a different way every time. So, ready? Love comes in when the mind lets go. Love comes in when the mind lets go. Think about it. There is no mental formula that says, if you have this, and you add that, and you add the other, it will equal love. There is nothing we can do in our mind to create a state of love in our hearts. When the mind stops, love can reveal itself. It is beyond the processing of the computer in your head. And sometimes love doesn't make sense. But in love there is always a greater truth, one that reveals itself through the heart. So you don't have to wait for love to find you. You have to open up to love, and it is. There is no more sacred space than the heart of God. And most of us don't know how to get there. And most of us don't even realize that we are there, living in that heart of God. For us, God is an idea. Until we can feel His touch, and then He becomes a reality. When we feel Him, the love is immense, boundless, all-consuming, and free. It's a space where we are transformed. There is no beginning, no end. There is only an eternal now. The bliss-filled light. A moment's realization for us is enough to keep us going. In this world of thought, that's all we need. A moment of bliss, and then the brain kicks in again. Metaphysically, we say there is only love. Yet in our world today, there is mainly thought. I'm going to read that again. Metaphysically, we say there's only love. Yet in our world today, there's mainly thought. We can easily see God as divine mind. We see God, divine mind, in nature. When you've ever looked at a flower, you open it up and you see the beautiful energy in the flower. You can cut a piece of fruit and see the beautiful symmetry of the fruit and the organization of the cells. God is in everything. That beautiful divine mind, creating and controlling balance. We can see divine mind in all of nature all around us, yes? We can also see divine mind in this beautiful energy of creation with our computers and our phones that can do things that we can't do. You know, our electrical world expanding to the point that it is so beyond limitation. Is that not divine mind moving through our mind to allow creations to occur? So divine mind is exploding all around us. We see it. So, when we see it, we go, wow, that's cool, huh? How is that even possible? Because my mind can't comprehend it. My mind cannot access it. But to the phone, to the flower, we know divine mind. And sometimes we can feel the love. But do we actually see divine love? Do you ever walk out and see divine love? Do we even know to look for divine love? Once we are able to free our minds from being limited, we will access divine mind and soar. Can we free our hearts from being limited so we can connect with divine love and soar? How do we bring greater love into our world? We teach, remember you are love. If you are remembering you are love, what are you doing but thinking? It's very difficult, very catch-22. Let go of the mind. We can't think love in. We have to start where we are, and we have to learn to love beyond reason. Love beyond reason. Logically, you have all these reasons to withhold love in your world. Logically, we come across situations where, of course, we're not going to love them because they said this or that. Logically, we're not going to love because, of course, they use their power in a way that we don't agree with. Well, of course, we're going to withhold love because we're going to punish them for not doing what we wanted them to do. Our mind justifies us withholding love and gives us reasons for it. Do you all understand? We are being asked to love beyond reason, without agenda, and without worrying about what is required, just love. What someone does or does not do should not affect our love for them. Forgive without condition, let go and love. Forgive without condition. When you feel that someone has harmed you or hurt you in any way, most of us decide, well, how am I going to fit in their world logically? How am I going to maintain relationship with them when they act in such an atrocious way? This is Cindy now. Did you notice when I shifted? Now, does your mind go there? How can I forgive them? Because they have offended my mindset. And we are being asked to love without condition, but it does not mean you have to maintain relationship. You do not have to fix that relationship. You just have to love them. You have to love them. Don't fix the relationship. Maybe the relationship needs to go away. Maybe it needs to melt. Maybe it needs space to grow something new. But our minds tend to tell us how to find love, how to share love, and when it is safe to love. And Spirit is asking us just to love. If we don't love, we can't find divine love in our world. Are you comfortable with what I've said so far?
Yes.
Is anyone uncomfortable? Great. You wouldn't tell me if you were. We teach being God's love. We teach bring God's love into every situation or person you are troubled about and give them to God, which we teach all the time, right? Bring God's love into them, ask that God's love fill them, let them go, give them to God. Now, go back on your track and do your world. Okay? Spirit is asking us to ask God's love, ask to feel God's love in you, and then ask, how can I love this better? Not how can I release this to God so I don't have to think about it anymore and agonize about it anymore or try to figure out how not to judge it. How can I love this better? Challenging? Yes. How can I express greater love in this moment right now? You know, the Aquarian says love is the healing balm. It is the substance of all things created. How can I love greater? If it is the substance of all things created, if love is the substance, everybody understand what I'm saying? Our thought creates a form. We move the ethers of love with force into that form. Now we have created. But love is the substance of all creations. It's the healing balm for all things. If love is the healing balm for all things and the substance of all things created, why would we not want to love more? Do you understand? Why would I not want greater love to move through me? Why would I not want that? Mind, love. We are ready to hear this message because we have grown in consciousness to receive it. That's what they said. Yeah. This is the message that Jesus Christ brought. He came to show us the Father's love. So, when we think about that, what we know of, what we have been given, the memories we have of his birth, we have inherited a story from Luke, who was a companion of Paul, who was a companion of Peter and Jesus' brother James, contemporary of them. So Luke did not know Jesus. Paul did not know Jesus, but they knew people who did know Jesus. So it's down the pike a bit, and we inherited this, so we don't know. But it's possible. That every single detail is absolute truth. It's possible. Possible. So Luke gives us the most beautiful story. And in Luke he tells us that Jesus was born to a humble family of meager means. Well, we know that he wasn't born to a rich and wealthy family. He was born to a humble family of meager means. He was bringing in the love of God. And what is the first thing that we are told happened in Matthew? Wise men, the brilliant of the brilliant, followed a star and brought to him wealth. Gold, which was wealth, frankincense, which was wealth, and myrrh, which was wealth. These were commodities that were highly prized. So they brought the energy of wealth. These powerful, wise men brought the energy of wealth to this child, not knowing anything about him, other than they could feel the energy of the love that came into the planet. Love does not need wealth or power. Love draws all it needs to itself. Do you hear me? And I'm not saying don't enjoy wealth and power. But if wealth and power become the mental directive and goal, where is our love? And if love becomes our choice, then all things are added to you. Logical? Logical? Left brains?
Makes sense to me.
Okay, all right. When in the story, it talks about the shepherds coming, and every year I just put out this great question, because I still ponder it. Even though I know the answer, I still ponder it. Those angels could have appeared to the city. They could have appeared to Herod. They could have appeared all over the world simultaneously to say something cool's happening. But who did they appear to? Shepherds, who were simple, devout men. They had no great learning, I'm sure. Their whole mission was to keep their sheep alive. They were communing with Spirit all the time, out in the wild, talking to the stars. Shepherds. Humble, devoted, focused on living, focused on life. They had the consciousness to receive the message. They had to have had a great deal of love in their hearts in order to have seen angels standing before them singing, "Peace on earth, goodwill to men." Don't you think? Don't you think they would have had to have had in their heart goodwill toward men? They would have had to have had a certain amount of harmony and peace to hear that message? The perfect people were selected because they had the right consciousness to hear and understand the love that Jesus was bringing. You know, as they were sharing this with me, they kept showing, angels, these are my angels and guys that work with me. And it's always the Jesus Christ right there. But I kept trying to understand what the message was. And it was so profound, yet so simple, yet how do I speak this? I don't know. The message was very simple. Our minds look for logic. Our hearts seek truth. And you know, especially in relationships, when you see someone falling in love with someone, you go, "Oh my God, what's wrong with you?" That makes no sense. Don't do it. You try to warn them. And they look and say, no. And there's no talking them out of this relationship, because the truth of their heart is taking them on a road they need to go down that you have no vision of. And your mind, which seeks to protect and hold them safe, can't do it. When we yield to that energy of love, it does take us in interesting and strange spaces. But it's always to learn, and it's always in a path of truth. So as they were the angels were trying to show me, it's like, really, Cindy, they said, it's time for you guys to start looking for love. And it's time for you to start not just being love in your prayers, but being love in this moment. Realize how much power that we have to be love. And when you think about Jesus' life, did he ever throw his power around? Some people are going, yeah, he sure did. He healed, and he cleared the temple. He healed. I don't think that's really throwing power. But he demonstrated power. And he cleared the temple, demonstrating power. But every time someone came to him and said, we shall make you king, and you shall have power to rule over us, he always said, that is not why I came. I came to show you love. I came to show you how God can work through you. And what did he tell the people? Set up fiefdoms and everybody rule? No. Love each other. See what happens when you love each other. And we have a great world today, don't we have a great world today? And aren't we taking that mental mind up into the zenith? We're really, really exploring what possible matter we can create with our mental mind. We need to now grow the heart to match that. So the heart can now express love, and we can start finding divine love flowing through us, finding divine light flowing through us. If every single one of us in this group today went out for the rest of our lives and just simply said, how would I bring greater love into this situation? How do I be love? How can I be love in this situation when you're standing in front of me telling me you're going to take everything I own, everything away from me? How can I be love and look at you and know that, you know what? If I'm love, you can't do what you think you can do. You can't do it. Because love draws all it needs. Can you stay in love? We're all called to fight these days. Have you noticed? We're all called to take positions, whether it's political or political. How about if we just stand in love? And just say, how can I be greater love in this moment? And how can I see greater love in that situation? The entire gifting that he brought the planet was to connect us with God's love. And to become aware that we are that love expressing. Jesus was never about power on the earth. Power on the earth. He demonstrated power. He was not about power on the earth. And he was never about wealth. Yet he had all the power and all the wealth he needed. It just came to him. It was never a problem. When we are the happiest in this life, those moments when you are content and your heart opens and you feel joyful, is it ever about matter around you? Or is it simply because you feel your own spirit? You feel God. And this beautiful energy of peace just emanates from you. I think for us mentally, we need to understand that to love does not mean I have to save you. To love does not mean I have to agree with you. To love does not mean that you have to do what I need you to do. Say, oh, thank God. To love means to love. Just love. And let that love heal. Let the love you give heal the situation. Just let it heal. If we're going to ask divine love to move through us, allow divine love to flow and heal all that is around us. Very simple concept, isn't it? Left brains out there? You guys counting the cost? Left brains are going, okay, I can try that, but yeah, I'll try it up until this point, but if so-and-so comes to me, I'm going to draw a line there, and I need this over here, and so we start negotiating with our brains, don't we? We start negotiating with how far we will allow it to go. That is absolutely fine, because that's your first step. Negotiate all you want, but do it. Negotiate all you want, but try it. Find some space, some place where you can take that step just to be love. Let everything go and just be love. It's time. You really, well, you might want to, I won't phrase it that way. I really don't want to hit the other side and cross over and say, yeah, I never could find divine love in myself every day. I don't want to do that. I want to cross over and say, yeah, man, I found divine love in me every day. May not have been able to hold it. Every day. Every day I hit it. And me and the angels will high five and I'll prepare my next lifetime. Can you guys feel the energy that Spirit wanted you to feel today? Can you feel that there is nothing more important than love in your world? There is nothing more important than you in this world, because you are love. You are the expression of God. That's why Jesus came. And that is the gift that he gave us. The ability to understand that as we follow him and his example and his life, we become that. He came as an infant, heralded by this awesome star. Do you think he commanded that star to appear? No, that star appeared because it resonated with heaven coming to earth. It was an expression of resonance of what was happening. And for us, we have those moments internally when we touch. We have stars appear for us when we touch that heaven on earth. You guys ready? Let's just take this inside. God, we open our hearts. And I ask that your infinite love, your tender love, your beautiful love, just enfold each one of us. And I would invite each of you to take a breath and let your thoughts go. Love is beyond the thought. Take a breath again and let the thoughts go. And again. And now imagine a beautiful pink column of light. And see a beautiful pink energy all around you. Feel that it can move through your consciousness. And with it you begin to feel a sense of greater safety, greater peace. So the pink continue to move through you. Greater inspiration, greater light. Ask that you be completely engulfed in this pink energy of God love. And notice in the energy there is all contentment, but there is also a great desire to express and achieve. There is contentment, but a great desire to express and achieve. Let this beautiful pink light now focus on your eyes. And just say, I ask to see with the eyes of God. And now let it just spread through the entire body. And ask that every thought in your being be filled with love. Father, Mother God, this day we seek to birth the Christ within at a higher level. To be that love made manifest. To truly find divine love. Guide us in our first step, God. And we thank you. Take a breath. Send some of that love out into the room. And when you're ready, you can gently open your eyes. You are now officially in their care, in the care of all the angels of love and light. Watch the guidance that you get. Watch the next time you are in a situation that is less than harmonious, for you will find yourself there. And see if you can remember to ask that question. How can I be greater love in this moment? How can I be greater love in this moment? Say it, God.